Hey everyone, welcome to another English listening practice video. Learning English can feel like a big challenge sometimes, right? Maybe it feels slow, maybe you feel a little frustrated, but you are here, ready to improve, and that is amazing. Keep going. Every minute you spend practicing helps you get better. Don't ever forget that. Now, have you ever felt maybe a little worried about what other people think? Especially when you're trying something new, like speaking English, or maybe just listening and trying to understand. You might think, what if I don't understand? What if I look confused? Well, there's a very famous speaker named Mel Robbins, and she has a really powerful idea from her book. It's called the Let Them Theory. It's actually quite simple. Imagine you want to practice your English listening, but you hesitate because you worry about being judged or looking silly or not being perfect. The Let Them theory says, if someone wants to judge you, if they want to think something negative about you trying to learn, let them. Their thoughts are their thoughts. They don't control you. How does this help with your English practice? It means you don't need to wait until you feel perfect or worry about anyone else's opinion. If you are practicing your listening and you have a fear in your mind saying, what if I miss something? Or what if someone hears me making a mistake? Just say to yourself, let them think whatever they want. My job is to learn. Think about this. Is the fear of what someone might think stopping you more than the actual difficulty of the English? Here's the truth. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time judging your English practice. And honestly, if they do, let them. It doesn't stop you from reaching your goals. Today, we are going to use this mindset. We are going to focus only on practicing our listening, on understanding more, without letting any worry about judgment or mistakes stop us. Let's forget the fear for a few minutes and just focus on listening to learn. So, get ready, take a deep breath, focus your ears and your mind right now. Stay with me and let's do some valuable listening practice together. Don't go anywhere. Chapter 1. The Simple Big Idea. Have you ever felt like you couldn't do something or even say something because you were worried about what someone else might think? It happens to all of us, right? We spend so much energy thinking about other people's reactions, their opinions, or what they might do. What if my friend doesn't like this? What if my boss thinks that's silly? What if my family disagrees? This kind of worrying can really hold us back and make us feel stressed and unhappy. Well, there's a really simple but very powerful idea that can help you with this. It's the main point of this chapter, and it can change how you feel. The idea is this: let them. That's it. Just two small words. But what do they mean? Let them means you choose to let other people think what they think. You let them feel what they feel, and you let them do what they do. You don't have to agree with them, you don't have to like it, but you stop trying to control their thoughts, their feelings, or their actions. Think about it. We often worry because we secretly try to manage how others react to us. We want them to approve, to understand, or to act in a certain way. But the truth is, you cannot control other people. Their thoughts, feelings, and actions belong to them. Trying to control them is like trying to push a wall over. It's impossible and incredibly tiring. The let them idea is about accepting this simple truth. It's not always easy to do, but understanding it is the first step. So if you are worried about someone's opinion, instead of trying to change their mind or worrying about why they think that way, you simply say to yourself, okay, let them think that. If someone does something you don't like, instead of getting upset because you can't change what they did, you can think, okay, let them do that. This doesn't mean you let people hurt you or that you don't have boundaries. It means you accept that you can't force them to be different. You manage your own reaction and decide your next step instead of focusing on controlling theirs. For example, imagine you are excited about a new hobby, like painting. You show your painting to a friend and they say something negative like, that's not really my style. You could feel hurt, worry that you're not good enough, and maybe stop painting. Or you can use the let them idea. You can think, okay, my friend doesn't like my painting. That's their opinion. I will let them have that opinion. I still love painting and I will continue. See the difference? You let go of trying to make your friend like it and you keep doing what makes you happy. When you truly start to practice let them, you will feel lighter. You stop carrying the heavy burden of trying to manage the world's reactions to you. You gain so much freedom. You can make choices that are right for you without being stopped by the fear of what others might think or do. It allows you to put your energy back into your own life, your own goals, and your own happiness. It's a simple, powerful idea that can help you worry less and live more freely. Chapter 2. Why we care too much. Do you ever feel like you worry too much about what other people think? Like you constantly try to make sure everyone around you is happy and you really care about how they see you? This feeling is very common, and understanding why we do it can help us feel better about it. Sometimes we feel this strong need to please everyone. It's like we want to be the person who makes things easy or happy for others. We might say yes to things we don't want to do or hide how we really feel just so we don't upset anyone or make them dislike us. We might worry about saying the wrong thing or doing something that someone won't approve of. This feeling often comes from wanting to fit in or be accepted. We believe that if everyone likes us, we are safe and good. Part of this is also trying to control how others see us. We want people to think good things about us, that we are kind, smart, successful, or fun. So we try to act in a way that creates this picture. It's like putting on a performance. We want to manage their opinion of us, because maybe, deep down, we think that their good opinion means we are good or valuable. We link our self-worth to what others think. Why do we do this? Often, it starts when we are young. We learn that when we please important people, like parents or teachers, we get praise or avoid trouble. We learn that being liked feels good, and being disliked or ignored feels bad. So we carry this idea into adulthood. We might be afraid of conflict, criticism, or rejection. The thought of someone thinking negatively about us can feel very uncomfortable, almost like a threat. Think about this. Maybe you're with different groups of friends. With one group, you act one way, maybe quieter. With another, you try to be the funny one. You might feel like you have to change who you are slightly just to make sure everyone in each group likes you. You're trying to control their impression of you, hoping they see you as someone who fits in and is worthy of being their friend. You're doing this because you want acceptance, and you're maybe a little afraid of what would happen if you were just completely yourself and they didn't like it. This need to please everyone and control their view of us is often driven by insecurity. When we don't feel completely confident in ourselves, we look for proof that we are okay from the outside. We think if they like me, then I must be good enough. But trying to get everyone to like you is an impossible job. People have different opinions, and you can't control what goes on in their heads. Trying to manage everyone's feelings and opinions is also very tiring. It takes a lot of energy to constantly be aware of how others might be reacting to you and adjusting your behavior. It stops you from being truly authentic and just being you. And when you are so focused on what others think, you can lose touch with what you think and you want. You become less like yourself and more like who you think others want you to be. Chapter 3. What let them means. Do you spend a lot of energy trying to change how other people act or think? Maybe you get frustrated because someone doesn't do what you expect, or they have opinions that bother you. It feels like if only they would change, things would be better, right? We often spend so much time and feeling on trying to make others different. Well, this idea called let them is here to talk about that feeling. It's not about giving up or just letting people treat you badly. That's a common misunderstanding. Let them doesn't mean you become a doormat or stop caring about things that are important to you. Not at all. What let them really means is accepting a very simple but powerful truth. You cannot control other people. You cannot make them think what you want them to think, feel what you want them to feel, or do what you want them to do. Everyone has their own mind, their own choices, and their own journey. Trying to force someone to be different is usually a fight you will lose, and it costs you a lot of energy and peace. So, instead of fighting this impossible battle, the let them theory suggests a different path. It says, okay, you can't control them, so stop trying. Let them have their opinions. Let them make their choices. Let them live their life the way they choose. This is not about agreeing with them or saying their behavior is okay if it's not. It's about recognizing that their actions are theirs and you can't manage them. The real power in let them comes from shifting your focus entirely. When you stop using all that energy to try and change others, you get that energy back. And where should you put it? On what you can control. You can control your own actions. You can control your own reactions. You can control your own boundaries. You can control where you put your time and attention. Think about a friend who is always late. You get stressed waiting. You try to tell them to be on time. You feel annoyed. That's trying to control them. The let them approach would be, okay, they are often late. Let them be late. This doesn't mean you have to wait forever. It means you accept this is how they are, and you decide what you will do. Maybe you tell them an earlier start time. Maybe you bring a book and decide waiting 15 minutes is fine for you. Maybe you decide this makes meeting up difficult and you choose less frequent meetings. You're not trying to change their lateness. You are changing your plan or your boundary based on their behavior, which you accept you can't control. This shift is incredibly freeing. When you let them, you stop taking their behavior so personally. You stop feeling responsible for how they act. Your frustration goes down because you're no longer banging your head against a wall trying to change the unchangeable. You gain clarity because you can now focus on what you need and what you can do. So that's what let them is about. It's not passive acceptance of bad things. It's active acceptance of reality, the reality that you control only yourself. And by focusing your powerful energy only on what is in your control, you take your power back. You choose your response. You set your boundaries. You build your own peace, no longer depending on others to act a certain way for you to feel okay. It's all about turning your energy inward towards your own power and your own life. Chapter 4. They can think what they want. Do you ever feel like you spend too much time worrying about what other people might be thinking about you? You know that feeling when you're about to do something or you just did something and your mind immediately goes to, oh no, what will they think? It's like there's a little voice in your head always concerned about getting approval or avoiding criticism. This chapter talks about a really important idea. What if you just stopped worrying about it? What if you could truly believe that their thoughts are simply not your problem? The main point is to understand that other people's opinions, their judgments, their ideas about you, these things belong to them. They don't belong to you. Think about it. People's thoughts come from their lives, their experiences, maybe even their own fears or insecurities. You cannot control what goes on inside someone else's head. It's impossible. And trying to control it or constantly adjusting yourself to fit what you think they want is exhausting. When you worry about what they think, you're giving away your power. You're letting someone else's internal world dictate how you feel or what you do. So, the advice here is to practice letting them think what they want. It doesn't mean you don't care about anyone. It means you free yourself from the burden of managing other people's opinions. Imagine how much energy you would have if you weren't spending it on guessing and stressing about what others might be thinking. This freedom allows you to be more yourself, to make choices that are right for you, to live your life according to your values, not what you believe someone else's values are. Let's say you want to try a new hobby, something a bit unusual, maybe learning to play the ukulele or taking a pottery class. Immediately, you might think, what will my friends think? Will they laugh? Worrying about that might stop you from even trying. But if you apply the let them think what they want idea, you say to yourself, okay, maybe they'll think it's silly. That's their thought. It doesn't change my desire to try it or how much fun I might have. You give yourself permission to go for it, regardless of potential opinions. It's about taking back control of your own feelings and actions. It's about recognizing that their thoughts are theirs and your peace and happiness are yours. You don't need their permission to be you. You just need to give yourself permission. Chapter 5. They can feel what they feel. Do you often feel like it's your job to make sure everyone around you is happy? Maybe if someone is sad, you feel bad, like you did something wrong, or like you have to cheer them up right away. Or if someone is angry or in a bad mood, you feel stressed or maybe even try to walk away so you don't make things worse. Well, this chapter talks about a really important idea. It's about realizing that you are actually not responsible for how other people feel. You are not responsible if they are happy, and you are not responsible if they are in a bad mood. Think about it. Everyone has their own feelings inside them. Their feelings come from their own thoughts, their own day, their own experiences. You can't just go inside someone's head and change how they feel, right? It's like trying to change the weather outside just by wishing. People are allowed to feel what they feel. Happy, sad, angry, tired. It's their experience. Sometimes we try really hard to make people feel good. Maybe your friend is sad and you try everything to cheer them up. Or maybe your family member is angry and you walk on eggshells so they don't get more upset. When we do this, we often feel a lot of pressure. We think, oh no, they are sad, it must be my fault, or I need to fix this and make them smile. This feeling can make you tired, stressed, and even guilty if they don't end up feeling better. But this chapter helps you see that it's okay to let people have their feelings. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. Of course, you can be kind, you can listen, you can offer support, but you don't have to take ownership of their emotional state. You can be there for them, but you don't have to be responsible for their happiness or sadness. Let's think of an example. Imagine your friend is having a really bad day and they seem very upset. You didn't do anything wrong, it's just their day. You might feel like you have to cheer them up right now. You try telling jokes, suggesting fun things, but nothing seems to work and they stay sad or maybe even get a little annoyed. You might start thinking, okay, I failed. I couldn't make them feel better. It's my fault they are still sad. This chapter helps you understand that in that moment, your friend is feeling what they are feeling based on their day and their thoughts. It's not your job to instantly erase their bad mood. You can be a supportive friend, you can listen, but you can also understand that their feelings belong to them. So, the big message here is about letting go of that heavy feeling of responsibility for everyone else's moods. You can be a good person, you can be kind, but you can also accept that other people's feelings are theirs. You can let them feel what they feel without thinking it's your fault or your problem to fix. It's like saying, they are feeling what they are feeling, and that is okay. This frees you up to focus on your own feelings and actions, and it gives others the space to process theirs. Chapter 6. They can do what they do. Have you ever felt really upset or stressed because of something someone else did or didn't do? Think about it. Maybe a friend didn't call when they said they would. Maybe a family member made a choice you really don't agree with. Or perhaps someone you know acts in a way that just makes you feel annoyed or angry. It's easy to feel like their actions are causing your problems, right? And maybe you wish you could just make them act differently so you would feel better. But here's a really important idea. Other people are going to do what they are going to do. They have their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own reasons for doing things. And the simple truth is, you cannot control what other people choose to do or say. You just can't. No matter how much you want them to change, no matter how much you talk to them, or how frustrated you get, their actions belong to them. Trying to control another person is like trying to control the weather. It's just not possible, and it uses up all your energy and makes you feel powerless and unhappy. So, if you can't control what they do, what can you control? This is where your power really is. You can control your reaction to what they do. You can choose how you respond. You can choose what you think about it. You can choose how you feel about it. And you can choose what you do next. This is a huge difference. Instead of trying to change them, which you can't, you focus on managing yourself, which you absolutely can. Let's imagine that friend who is always late. It's frustrating. You can spend all your time being angry at them, telling them they are wrong, or getting upset every time it happens. That's trying to control their action, being on time. It usually doesn't work, and you end up feeling stressed and angry. Or you can accept that they are likely going to be late. That's their action, which you can't control. Then you can focus on your reaction and your space. What can you do? You can decide to leave your house at the planned time anyway and meet them there. Or you can bring a book to read while you wait. Or if it really bothers you, you can decide that meeting them means you will just start later. Or you might decide this isn't a friendship that works for you and you spend less time with them. See, you are not changing them. You are changing your response and protecting your time and feelings. This idea is about letting others be themselves and make their own decisions, good or bad, right or wrong in your eyes. It's not saying you have to agree with them or like what they do, but it is saying you must accept that their actions are theirs. Your job is to handle your own part, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and protecting your space and energy. When you stop trying to control what they do and start focusing on how you respond and take care of yourself, you feel much stronger and find more peace. It's about giving them the freedom to be them and giving yourself the freedom to choose your own reaction and protect your own well-being. Chapter 7. How you get your freedom. Do you ever feel stressed or tired because of how other people act? Maybe a friend is always late, or a family member does things that annoy you, or someone at work has habits you just don't understand. It's easy, isn't it, to get caught up in how you wish they would be different. We spend so much time in our minds trying to change them, expecting them to act in a certain way, or getting upset when they don't meet our expectations. This constant wishing, this constant mental effort to control or manage how others behave is incredibly tiring. It takes up a lot of your mental and emotional energy, like a small, constant drain on your battery. It also creates a lot of stress. When someone doesn't act how you think they should, you feel frustrated, worried, or disappointed. It feels like their actions are somehow happening to you, making your life difficult. But there's a simple idea that can change this feeling. It's about understanding something very important. You cannot control other people. You can't make them be on time if they don't want to be. You can't force them to think like you do. You can't make them change their habits just because you find them annoying. When you truly accept this, you can try a different approach. The idea is simple. Let them. Let them be late. Let them do it their way. Let them think what they think. Let them make their own choices, even if you don't agree with them. Now, this doesn't mean you have to like their actions or that you let people treat you badly. That's different. This is about accepting the reality of how people are in this moment, especially in situations where their actions don't directly harm you, but just bother you or don't fit your idea of how things should be. So, how does this let them idea give you freedom? Think about it. When you stop trying to change someone, you stop using all that energy. All the mental arguments you have in your head about their behavior, they start to disappear. All the frustration and stress you feel because they aren't acting how you want, that starts to fade away too. Their actions are still their actions, but you are no longer putting your energy into fighting against them. Let's use an example. Imagine you have a friend who cancels plans at the last minute often. You could get angry every time, call them and complain, feel personally hurt, and spend hours feeling stressed about their unreliability. Or you could try to let them. This means you accept that this is how they are right now. You stop expecting them to change. You might still feel a little disappointed, but you don't let their action ruin your whole evening or take up all your mental space. You might decide to make flexible plans with this friend or make other plans that don't depend on them completely. The energy you used to spend being angry, trying to change them, or feeling hurt is now available. Where does this saved energy go? It comes back to you. When you are not stressed about trying to control others, you have more peace in your mind. You have more energy to focus on your own life, your own goals, your own happiness. You can spend your time and energy on things you can control, your own actions, your own reactions, your own well-being. You free yourself from the heavy burden of trying to manage the unmanageable. This freedom from stress, this freedom of having your energy back, and this freedom to focus on yourself, that's the peace and the energy you gain. You get your freedom back by letting others be themselves. Chapter 8. Using the idea everywhere. Have you ever felt stressed or maybe a little frustrated because of how other people act? Maybe someone in your family makes choices you don't agree with, or a friend does something that annoys you, or perhaps a colleague at work just sees things differently. We often spend a lot of energy wishing people were different or trying to make them change. But there's a simple idea that can help you feel much calmer. The let them idea. It's not about saying everything everyone does is okay or that you have to agree with them. It's really about understanding that other people are going to be who they are. They have their own thoughts, their own feelings, and they will make their own decisions. You cannot control them, and trying to control them takes a lot of your personal peace and energy. The let them idea means accepting this basic truth. People are free to be themselves, even if you don't like it. And when you accept this, you can stop fighting against reality and find more peace for yourself. Let's think about how you can use this idea everywhere in your life. First, with your family. It's easy to feel very involved with family members' lives. Maybe you worry about your child's choices, or you think your parent should do things differently, or your sibling makes you angry. It's natural to care, but sometimes we try too hard to manage their lives for them. Using let them with family means you allow them to live their own life and make their own mistakes. You can still love them and be there for them, but you don't have to carry the heavy feeling of trying to fix them or make their decisions for them. You let them be them, and you take care of yourself. Next, think about your work. At work, you deal with different people, your boss, your colleagues. Maybe someone at work doesn't do their job well, or there are rules you don't agree with, or communication is difficult. It's easy to feel frustrated or annoyed by other people's actions or decisions at work. But you cannot force your colleagues to be different or make your boss change their mind just because you want them to. Applying let them at work means you focus on what you can control, your own work, your own attitude, how you respond. You accept that others will work in their way and your boss will make decisions based on their view. You let them do their job how they do it, and you do yours. This helps you use your energy on being effective in your own role instead of wasting it on things you can't change. What about your friends? Sometimes friends do things that disappoint us or hurt our feelings. Maybe a friend is always late, or they forget important dates, or they behave in a way you don't understand. It can be upsetting when friends don't act how you expect them to. But your friends are also individuals with their own lives and personalities. Using the let them idea with friends means you accept them for who they are. You understand that they will act based on their own feelings and priorities. You can talk to them about how you feel, but you cannot change their core personality or habits just because you are friends. You let them be themselves, and you decide if that friendship, as it is good for you. It gives you the power of choice in your relationships. And in today's world, we also have to think about online life. Social media, online discussions, comments on videos like this one. The internet is full of different opinions and people expressing themselves in many ways. Sometimes you see things online that you strongly disagree with or that make you angry or upset. It's easy to get pulled into arguments or feel personally attacked by things strangers say online. But applying let them online is incredibly freeing. It means you see a comment or a post and you accept that this person has chosen to say or post that. You don't have to agree with it, you don't have to argue with it, and you definitely don't have to let it ruin your day. You just see it and you let them have their opinion. You let them post their post. You can choose to keep scrolling, to hide comments, or even block people, but you don't take on the stress of trying to fix everyone or feel personally hurt by online noise. You just let them be online. So, using the let them idea with your family, at work, with friends, and online is really about freeing yourself. It's about stopping the difficult and impossible job of trying to control other people or feeling responsible for their feelings and choices. When you practice letting them be who they are, you take back your own power. You have more energy for yourself, you feel less stressed, and you can find more peace in your daily life, no matter what other people are doing. Chapter 9. Setting Your Own Rules. Do you ever feel like you can't say no to people, or like other people's needs always seem to come before your own? Well, there's this really important idea called setting your own rules. It's not about being bossy or selfish. It's about deciding what is okay and what is not okay in your life. It's about understanding what you need to be healthy and happy, and then making those things a priority. This idea is deeply connected to the concept of let them. Why? Because often the biggest reason we don't set our own rules or say no is fear. We're afraid of how other people will react. We worry they'll be angry, disappointed, or think we're not nice. The let them idea helps you with this fear. It gives you permission to let other people have their reactions. If you set a rule and someone is unhappy about it, you can simply let them be unhappy. You don't have to fix their feelings or change your rule to make them comfortable. Setting your own rules is really about creating healthy boundaries for yourself. Boundaries are like invisible lines that protect your time, your energy, and your emotional space. For example, if you decide, my rule is that I don't check work emails after 7 p.m., that's setting a boundary around your evening time. When you have these rules, saying no becomes much easier. Instead of feeling guilty, you're just following your own plan for your life. If a colleague emails you at 8 p.m. and asks you to do something urgent, you can say, I'm sorry, I can't do that now. My rule is that I don't work after 7 p.m. Here's an example. Imagine you have a friend who always asks you for favors at the last minute, and you feel pressured to say yes even when you're tired. You decide to set a rule. My rule is that I need 1 full day each weekend to relax and recharge. The next Saturday morning, the friend calls with a last-minute favor request. Because you have your rule, you can say, sorry, I can't today. Saturdays are my time to rest. That's my rule for myself right now. Your friend might sound a little annoyed or try to make you feel guilty. This is where let them comes in. You let them be annoyed. You don't have to take on their feeling or change your rule. You stick to what you decided is right for you. When you start setting your own rules and are okay with letting others have their reactions, you take back control of your life. You create space for what's truly important to you. It takes practice, but it gives you so much freedom and energy. You decide what you will and won't do based on your needs, not based on the fear of upsetting others. Chapter 10. Focus on your own life. Do you often spend a lot of time thinking about other people? Maybe worrying about what they are doing, what they think of you, or getting caught up in their problems? Okay, let's think about this. Imagine your personal energy, your time, and your focus are like a powerful battery. Every day, you have a certain amount of charge in that battery. When you use a lot of that charge worrying about others, what your friend posted online, what your coworker said about you, what your family expects you to do, you are draining your battery for them. You are giving away your valuable energy to situations and people you often cannot control. This can leave you feeling tired, stressed, and like you don't have enough energy left for yourself. Your own plans, your own dreams, your own happiness start to suffer because your focus is pointed outwards, not inwards. The core idea here is simple but powerful. Shift your energy. Stop giving so much of your mental and emotional power to what others are doing or thinking. It's time to take that energy back. Instead, turn that battery charge, that focus, inward. Direct it towards your own life. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? What makes me feel happy and alive? What are my goals for myself, my health, my learning, my future? When you focus on yourself, you move from being a watcher of other people's lives to being the active builder of your own. You put energy into things that directly improve your situation and your well-being. This could mean spending time learning a new skill you've always wanted to try, like painting or a new language. It could mean exercising regularly to take care of your physical health. It could mean setting clear goals for your career or your personal projects. It could mean spending quiet time doing things you enjoy, like reading or spending time in nature. Think about it like gardening. You can spend all day looking over your neighbor's fence, comparing their flowers to yours, maybe feeling jealous or worried about their weeds. Or you can focus entirely on your own garden, preparing the soil, planting your seeds, watering your plants, removing your weeds. Which approach will make your garden beautiful and healthy? Focusing on yours, right? It's the same with your life. Directing your energy to yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary self-care and self-investment. You are building your own strength, your own resilience, and your own joy. So, the message is clear. Use your valuable energy wisely. Point it towards building your own goals, nurturing your own happiness, and creating the life you truly want. Let others handle their lives. You have a beautiful garden of your own to tend. Chapter 11, Practice Makes It Easier. Have you ever tried to change an old habit? You know, something you've done for a long, long time. Think about trying to change something you do automatically without even thinking. Changing that feels hard at first, right? This chapter is about learning a new way to handle things, a new habit for your mind. It's about something simple but not always easy. Learning to let other people be themselves. Letting them make their own choices, say what they think, and do what they do, even if you don't agree or if it makes things a little difficult for you. This idea, this way of thinking, it's like a new skill you need to build, just like learning a sport or playing a musical instrument. At the beginning, using this idea can feel strange. Your old way of reacting is strong. Maybe you want to get upset, or maybe you want to try and change the other person. That's completely normal. It's like the first time you try to ride a bicycle. You feel wobbly, and you might feel like you will fall. But the chapter gives you tips and shows you that practicing this letting them idea every day is how you get better. It's not just for big, difficult problems. The real practice happens in the small moments. Every little situation is a chance to try this new way. Think about waiting in line at the store and the person in front of you is moving very slowly. Your usual reaction might be to feel annoyed or impatient. Maybe you even think angry thoughts. But practicing the idea means you consciously choose a different response. You notice your feeling, maybe that little bit of impatience, but you don't act on it. You just let the person be slow. Or maybe a friend cancels plans at the last minute. Instead of feeling hurt or angry, you try to just let them cancel. It's their choice for their reasons. The chapter helps you see these small moments and gives you simple ways to try the new response. Maybe it's about pausing for a second before you react. Maybe it's about taking a deep breath. Maybe it's just telling yourself silently, okay, I will just let this be. It's like doing small exercises for your new mental habit. At first, it feels awkward and you might forget sometimes. You won't do it perfectly every time. But here's the good news. The more you practice, the easier it gets. The wobbly feeling starts to go away, just like on the bicycle. This new way of reacting becomes more natural. Your first thought might still be the old one sometimes, but you get better and better at choosing a different response. And you start to notice that when you don't try to control others or get upset by their actions, you feel better. You feel calmer inside. You have more energy because you're not spending it fighting against things you can't change. Remember, changing any old habit takes time and patience. Be kind to yourself as you practice. Some days will be easier than others. Just keep trying, little by little, day by day. Every time you consciously choose to let someone be themselves, you are making this new habit stronger, making your own life feel easier.